to present today? Who wants to give the review of the class, of the last class? What did I teach in the last class? What was the contents?
Introduction to human resource management.
No.
It's what I do.
I asked what I taught in the last class, not what's written in the slide.
And some basic definitions and why HRM is important for managers.
Why HR is important for managers? Why was that?
To employ the right employees, reduce employee turnover, for better interview selection, reduce discrimination, reduce unsafe activities, reduce employee conflicts.
Okay, thank you. So in the class we have around 200 plus students, and among them a few of you are present today, and among all of you only one student cares about this course and wants to get an A+. And trust me, if your performance is like that, then only he will be getting A+. Because that's what happens. If you don't study, if you are not reactive in the class, then you will not be getting an A+. It's not that easy job. You may pass, of course, but not with a good result. For getting a good result, you have to study regularly. This is a very easy course, a theoretical course with concepts only, no math, no mathematical term, or no like theory with like economics, theory with hard logics. Okay, so it is a basic concepts and it's very easy to understand. So if you study regularly, then what will be happening, that in the exam you will not face pressure, because in the mid you will have 4 chapters, at least 4. It can be increased to 5. So you have 5 other courses in this semester, or 4, right? So if you don't study regularly, then how could it be possible for you to complete all the topics, all the 4 and 5 chapters from each course in 1 or 2 nights, and you expect then you will get a good result, and then you come to us and ask Miss why I got a bad grade. So tell me, why did you get a bad grade in previous exam? Because you follow the same trend. And the reason I am saying this, because I took your class previously, right? So I know who are the serious students who got A+ in my last course. He was the one who got A+ in my last course. I remember the students who gets a good marks in my, and who are really like attentive in the class. Though he was not that much attentive in microeconomics, but he still managed to get A+. And in this class he is the only one who is responsive. In the last class he also presented. No one among you came in front here and like cared about telling anything. That means you don't study. My job is to teach you, okay? আমি just পড়িয়ে চলে যাব, that's all. From there my job is done, and I don't know what you're gonna do the rest of you guys, okay? So it's up to you যে আমি পড়ানোর পরে আপনি কি করবেন. This is the last time I'm telling this to you. From the next class আমি আপনাদেরকে নিয়ে কিছুই বলবো না. You are on your own because you are mature enough. Okay, you are on your own. So don't come to me saying, Miss, why did I get a bad marks in exam? Because the reason I just told you today, because you are not responsive and you don't study regularly. That's the reason. And if you don't improve, the results not going to improve, and you will get out of the university with a lower CGPA. And just think about that. This university is not a top ranking university, right? So if you are from a top ranking university, then if you got out from there with a minimum CGPA, that still you would had value. But this university we are still developing. So if you get a bad grade in this university, what kind of student are you? Ask yourself. Other universities, there you have to get a A+ with 93 marks. I did that. But you are only getting 80. You are required 80 to get an A+. So how easy this for you guys? So if you are not good here, then where you will be good? Just ask this yourself. I'm not telling you to this to demotivate you, but you have to like improve yourself. This is the time. You are in 3rd semester, right? So you have plenty of time. You didn't even choose your major, but major courses are comparatively tough. The basic fundamental courses are comparatively easy. If you get a good marks here, then the possibility is you will get a good marks over there. But if you mess up here, then there is a higher possibility that you will be messing up in the major course as well. Okay, so it's better you concentrate here now, from now on. Okay, so to start with our class, we started our chapter 1, which is the introduction of human resource management. So in the first class, we actually discussed about management. What are the management process, what resources a manager need, who are the managers, and basic definition of HRM and what is an organization, that is all. In the last class, we actually discussed about some aspects, personal aspects of manager's job. That means what an employee thinks a manager should do, manager's job. And then we started why human resource management or managers are important. So there we have 3 points, I only discussed the first point with you. The personal mistakes. There are some mistakes that an organization or some employees may do. To prevent those mistakes, a manager, HR managers is needed to guide them. So this was from our previous class actually. So from today's class we will start from this topic. Okay. So why human resource manager is important among all? First one was to avoid some personal mistakes. Personal means some mistakes that employees make. Personal is a synonym of employee. So some mistake that employees make. The second point is improving profit and performance. Of course, and at the end of the day, we want to earn profit, and we do everything to earn profit, right? In an organization, we plan, we execute, we do everything to get our profit, maximize our profit. So if your people is not working accordingly, how can you earn profit? So this is a job of HR manager, so to ensure that all the employees is doing their job properly. Then the third is getting results. In the starting we said we want to achieve a goal, right? Organization goal in an effective and efficient manner. So that means getting result. We want to achieve organization goal. See, here is a word written, strategic goals, right? What's the difference between a basic goal and a strategic goal? Can anyone tell me what does it mean by strategic or strategy? Did you hear this word before?
Most likely it's properly planned. There's a way of planning that how they're going to achieve it.
Yeah, right. So some plan, right? A way of planning how I'm going to achieve something. So that's my strategy. What would be your strategy to get a good result? You have a plan, right? So I will study, like I will keep my notes, and then I will give a good presentation and assignment. I will be good in the class test as well. I will perform good in the class, and then combine all of this, you will get a good result. So you have a strategy of your own. We all have a strategy of our own for our life. So in an organization, there are some strategies to achieve the goals. The organization goal we want to achieve. So these are strategic goals. In chapter 2, we will be studying about this strategic goal. Chapter 2 is all about different type of HR managers and different type of goals, how to achieve them. Okay, so in the next chapter we will be elaborating this concept further on. Okay. Now comes HR and authority. Okay, now tell me, what is authority? What do you understand by authority? If someone says you have the authority to do this, then what does it mean?
Authority means some kind of right.
Right over someone or something, right? Authority. So when we say the word authority, that means we have a right over someone or something. So what are the authorities of an HR manager? See, the right to make decisions, direct other works, and give orders. So in an organization, if your boss have authority over you, that means what? Your boss can tell you what to do, what not to do. Your boss can direct your actions, right? Your boss can give you orders. So that is called actually authority. So there are 3 types of authority in our human resource management, or human resource managers have 3 types of authorities. First one is line authority. So line, right, which means what? A straight line, serial, maintaining a sequence. So line authority is actually when a manager has command over his department or her department, that's called line authority. For say human resource manager, a human resource manager can order the employees of his department only or give instruction to his department only, then we will say that manager has line authority. Okay. So, when a manager will have the order over or can command his department employees only, we will say that is line authority. Clear? Line authority. And then there is staff authority. Staff authority is when a HR manager or a manager can advise other managers. Okay, advise other managers. Say for there is human resource manager we are talking about, right? In the organizations there can be account manager for accounts department, finance department, there are employees from like marketing department. So if a HR manager advise some staff to those other employees or other managers, it would be called staff authority. So to the own department, in his own department he can order, right? He can order and he has control over other employees' action. But staff authority is when a manager only give advice. Okay, only give advice, what is right, what is wrong to other managers, not his own group. Okay, so that is our staff authority. It's clear what is line authority and what is staff authority? Any confusion? Please tell me now if you have any confusion. Line authority is about when I have command over my class, right? You are my students, I am taking your course directly, so I have command over you. If I give you order, you have to obey it, right? If I give you an assignment, you have to complete it because you are under me now, right? But I don't have any class with 12 batch students, right? So I don't have any line authority for them, but I can advise them what's good for them, what's bad for them, right? So there my role is staff authority with them. Clear? Any confusion now? Okay. Now comes implied authority. What do you understand by the word implied? In general sense, what does it mean by implied? Any idea? Anyone? No. When you are not directly expressing something, that's called implied. Okay. So what happens? There are certain things that we don't say, but it still exists there. For example, when you get admitted in this university, you teachers told you about different type of rules, right? What you can do, what you cannot do. So, but no one told you, right, that you actually knew that you have to study hard to get a good result. So no one have to tell you this, right, because this is implied. No one will directly tell you, but you know that you have to do it. So implied is when that something it's not directly expressed, but it's there, you know it's there. Okay. So it's implied authority. So in HR, how does it actually work? HR manager actually has like a good communication with the top managers. Okay. So what happens when a HR manager, other employees know that HR manager has a good relation with the top management, and this is called their implied authority. Okay. এখন এখানে আমাকে বলেন তো যে টপ ম্যানেজমেন্টের সাথে সম্পর্ক ভালো, এটা অন্য এমপ্লয়িরা জানে। সো এখানে ইমপ্লয়েড অথরিটির সম্পর্কটা কি, মানে এটা জানলে কি হবে, এখানে অ্যাকচুয়ালি কি বোঝাতে চাচ্ছে, মেসেজটা কি? হোয়াটস দ্য মেইন মেসেজ অফ দিস লাইন? Read this line and see if you can understand it or not. I don't think it's totally coming here, right? Something is wrong with the font. Okay, let me check. Let me open it with PDF. Now it's better, right? Yes. Now, read this line and tell me what do you understand about it. The words may seem a bit tricky, but the meaning is very easy if you understand it. Yeah, it is exactly like exactly what she said, implied authority, right? The employees knows that the HR manager has access of the top management. That means he discuss every its and bits with the top management. Okay, so what the employees are doing at the end of the day, the report goes to the top management via HR manager. So when you know this, you will do your work properly, right? You have a fear that HR managers will have the access, so he can report about you. So you will be listening to the HR manager properly. So that's called implied authority. No one is telling you, the HR manager is not telling you that yeah, I have the authority, I will like I have the authority to complain about you to the HR manager, okay. But you know, because HR manager always works with the top management. His job is to inform what is happening inside the organization and report it to the top managers, okay. It is his job to give a report, monthly report or quarterly report to the top manager, who is performing well, who is not performing well, so that the top management can decide whom to keep and whom to release, okay. So that is why it's called implied authority. It's not clearly expressed, but it's there. Employees knows it. This is the fact, true fact, okay. So everyone clear about these three types of authority: staff, line and implied authority. Any confusion among these three? No? Okay. Then comes the line and staff aspect of human resource management. That means if there are two authorities, right, line, staff and implied, that means there must be different type of like your managing style also, right. Manager's job would be different. So what is the main job of a line manager? What is the job of a staff manager? So there are two types of manager in human resource management. Basically line and staff, okay. These are the broad criteria. There are small criteria as well, but these are the broad criteria, okay. So who are the line managers? A manager, what is the job of like line authority? What is line authority? I just taught you 2 minutes ago. What was line authority?
To work within his area.
To command or order, have the access within his area, right. So line manager's job is actually that. See the line, a manager who is authorized to direct to the work of subordinates is responsible for accomplishing the organization's job, goals or task, okay. So a line manager who works with his team, who is responsible for his team's performance, who has to manage his team and accomplish a certain amount of goal of an organization. That is the job of a line manager, that we call a line manager. A manager who works with a team, his own team, who directs his team, who has the authority over his team, and via his team he achieves the organization's task, certain task. So that is the job of a line manager. The person we call is line manager. Clear? So in an organization, for say if I say HR coordinator, so a coordinator means what? Coordinating someone's work, right? Coordinator, that means there must be some employees under him or her, coordinator. So for say HR coordinator, under him there are 5 employees working. So he is a line manager, under him there are 5 employees working. So he is responsible for the achievement of those 5 employees. If they fail, that means the line manager is failing. If they achieve the goal, that means the line manager's job is perfect, right? So that is line manager, okay. And who is the staff manager? Who actually assist and advise the line manager, okay. That means a higher authority than the line manager. For say HR coordinator, if HR coordinator is the line manager, then we can say that HR head is the staff manager, right. So HR head will advise and guide the line manager, and line manager will guide the other employees under him, his team, okay. So that there is a flow, there is a chain. Clear? Line managers are like coordinators, under him there is a team. He is responsible for his team, achieving goal of his team. And staff manager who has higher authority than the line manager and who actually advise and guide the line manager. He is called the staff manager. Clear? Any confusion among these two, line manager and staff manager? These concepts are very similar, so don't mix it up, okay. আপনি আপনার মতো করে পয়েন্ট নোট করে রাখেন, like it's a very good strategy to take notes. I don't know if it works for you or not, but it actually helps me a lot. Even now I take notes, okay. So when I take notes, I don't have to go through all of this. So if I just look at my notes, I know what I have to like write and what I have to read. So there is a clear image. So আমার writing আর আপনার writing তো সেম হবে না, রাইট? সো আপনি যদি আপনার মতো করে নোট রাখেন দেখবেন যে ওটা আপনার জন্য অনেক হেল্পফুল হবে। সো এই পরীক্ষার সময় আপনার এই বই পড়ে তখন মাথা খারাপ করতে হবে না, এত কঠিন লাইন কিছু বুঝেন না, নিজের ভাষায় লিখে রাখেন, তখন দেখবেন ওই জিনিসটা বেশি হেল্পফুল হবে। ওকে, সো এনি কনফিউশন অ্যামং দিস লাইন এজ স্টাফ ম্যানেজার? নো। Okay, so here are some basic job responsibilities of a line manager. Who was the line manager? Who guides his team, right? Advises his team and is responsible for achieving the performance of his team, right? So line manager, এখানে দেখেন line manager এর কিছু job responsibility কথা বলা হচ্ছে, the basic responsibilities of a line manager. First one is like placing right people to the right job, because under him there is a team, right? So he has to manage which person will work in which position. So first job. Then there is a starting, there is a orientation. If a new employee is appointed under him or her, he has to give guidance, right? A basic information what he or she will be doing in the organization. After them, then comes the training. So if the employee needs training, it's his job, line manager's job, to give him a proper training, because he is senior, he will be giving the trainings to the junior. Okay, after that comes improving the job performance of each people. That means which people we are talking about here, whose performance? The employees under him, right? His team, we are talking about his team, so he is responsible for their performance. So it's his job to improve their performance. Okay, then is gathering creative cooperation and developing smooth working relationship. That means if under an HR manager or line manager there are 10 employees, 10 employees will be coming for 10 different backgrounds, right? They have different judgment, they have different value, so of course there can be some type of conflict. So it's a line manager's job to coordinate those relationships so that they maintain a professional relationship and there is no such conflict arise. Okay, then it comes interpreting the firm's policies and procedures. When a new employee comes to the organization, he or she doesn't know anything about the organization policy or procedure or rule. So it's a HR manager's job or line manager's job to like convey the message to those new employees. Then comes controlling labor cost. Why labor cost is related here? What a line manager has to do with controlling labor cost? Why it is his job? What do you think?
Because the employee working under him is his responsibility, so he needs to take care that the costs are within the limit.
We at the first beginning of the class we said about achieving organization goal, right, in an effective and efficient manner, right? So what is the definition of efficient? Yeah, we have to achieve the goal in a cost effective way, right? So if we want to achieve our goal in an effective and efficient manner, so we have to look over the cost, right? We have to minimize our cost. That is why controlling labor cost. So the employees working under him, he is responsible for controlling the cost. If the employee is like unnecessary turning off the AC, it's not needed, so there is cost incurring, or employees using office materials like pen, paper, pencil for his own use. So that's the waste, right? That's the cost. So this type of cost he is responsible to minimize. Then developing the abilities of each person. That means if under him employee is not performing that well, then he has to evaluate where is the problem and he has to guide him. Okay, so that is his job actually. Then creating and maintaining department morale. Under him it's a department, right? Under him there is a team working, so he will be having some own guidelines, own morals, right? So maintaining those. Every manager is different, right? They have different principles. So a line manager, they will have different moral and principle as well. So to guide them is a job of line manager. Then comes protecting employees' health and physical condition. Is it important for a line manager to think about our employees' health and physical condition? What do you think? Why?
Because they are his responsibility, and every employee would want to
So actually here we are talking about the physical condition and health condition about what? The workplace, right? The workplace he can work. It's not like he will employee is healthy or not, have eaten his breakfast or not. No, we are talking about not that health, okay. We are talking about the environment, if he can work in the sound environment or not. For say the work is a bit tricky job, there are some equipments he have to handle. So a line manager's job is to guide him how to wear the safety guides, right, how to maintain the protocol, how to wear the appropriate like gloves so that he doesn't cut his finger, right. So these type of safety measures, health and physical condition we are talking about. Or the room is very hot and humid, so he cannot work, right, he's like sweating a lot, he may get a fever. So that's his job, to monitor if the employees is not sick, get not sick, okay. So that his job. So we are talking about this type of physical and health condition, looking over the employee. So it's clear, the concepts are very easy, right, it's not very hard to understand. You will be having the, I am just giving here one line and explaining it to you, but in the book you will be having the details, okay. That's why I told you to buy the book, because in the book you will get all the details, okay. See, this is a simple structure of HR chart of a small company. So in the small companies, they don't need actually a huge HR department, because there are small staff, so a small team can manage the whole organization, okay. So this is a basic chart. See here, manager, labor relation and human resource, that means he is the manager, he is responsible for everything. He also maintains the labor relation, he is the manager of human resource as well. Why it's separately written here, tell me, manager, labor relation and human resource. We could say him human resource manager. Why you were separating his title and telling labor relation and human resource manager? Why is that? Is there any difference between a human resource manager and manager with title of labor relation and human resource? What do you think? Basically what happens, human resource manager, most of the cases human resource manager actually look over the labor part too, but in the big organizations actually there is separate labor relation manager to look after the labor union, okay. So that is why here written manager, labor relation and human resource all together. In a small organizations there are a single manager who controls these two jobs, but in big organizations there are two different managers who control, one control the labor relation, another control the other like human resource in the organization, okay. Labor union is a bit tricky concept, okay. So bargaining with the laborers and like talking with them and fulfilling their demand, it's a bit of tough job. That's why there can be a separate manager who actually knows about the law and regulation, labor law, okay. So that is why in some organizations there are a separate manager for HR who actually very sound about the HR law. He knows the HR law, kind of, he is a lawyer, and there is a basic HR manager who actually look over the whole organization and activity, okay. But in a small organizations we actually have one manager who looks over everything, clear. Then it comes HR human resource administrative coordinators. After that, senior executive or coordinator and human resource coordinator. Sometimes they can have a office generalist. What is his or her job? Sometimes we say we see peon type stuff, right. So this is office generalist. His job is mainly to monitor when an employee is coming, when an employee is going. In organizations where they keep manual records of employees attendance, okay, there this type of staff is needed. He actually records when an employee is leaving, when he is coming, or if he is taking a leave, then giving a leave application via him, or if the office needs some stationaries, then purchasing those stationaries. So this type of small jobs is done by office generalist, clear. So this is a small organization's blueprint for HR department. Now come when the organization is large, then what happens? then there would be more complications, of course, right? The HR department will be huge because there are more employees and few employees cannot have control over those large amount of employees. So, we need more resources. So, see, first there is Vice President Human Resource, right? You do not need to click picture, you will get it. It is in the book and it is in my slide, I will give you the slide. Okay? Vice President Human Resource, that means he is the manager we are talking about, VP, who actually coordinates all of them. Okay? Then comes administrative assistant. That means after VP, administrative assistant. So, administrative assistant has, see, there are so many branches. Actually, these two work for managing all of the stuff. That is why, see, these two has all the branches, not a single one. Sometimes what happens when VP is absent, administrative assistant took the role of him, and sometimes when administrative assistant is absent, VP takes over his job. So, they actually work together with alignment. The position might be senior or junior, but the work is all the same. They work together. Okay? After that, see, from these two there are small branches. One is administrative director, employee health and service. So, there is a individual director or a manager who is responsible for employee health service only. Why do you think they kept a separate department for employee health service? Okay, answer me this, in which type of organizations you need to keep a separate department for only employee health service? In which type of categories of organization? Is this needed in an educational institute? Then which type of organization?
Where there's factories or machinery.
Factory, right? NGO. So, there are like manual labor is more there. More people are working or in a hazardous, maybe a bit hazardous situation. Lots of equipments are there. So, there you need a separate employee health service because so many employees are working on the plant. Okay. So, for them a separate department must be kept. Under him, see, there is a workers camp, STD and LDD case management. What does it represent by STD and LDD? Any idea? It is mainly short term disability and long term disability. There can be some disabled employees, right? So, the manager is responsible for looking after them. Might be employee might not have left hand, but he works with the right hand, right? So, he has a short term disability. There can be a long term disability as well. Okay? Maybe he has a heart condition where he might get a stroke if he is under a lot of pressure. Okay? So, in that type of case, there is a separate manager who is responsible for looking after these disabled employees only. Okay? After that, under him is a wellness program. Okay. So, this person executive is responsible for planning the wellness program for employees. Wellness programs, which type of wellness program we are talking about here? Any idea? What type of wellness program can be included here? Wellness, that means for the good of the employees there must be some programs which would be related to health. What type of program it can be?
Motivation.
Does it relevant with health, motivation?
New things which could be effective for the employees.
Mainly wellness program, there can be two wellness program mainly happens. For one is mental and one is physical. So, what happens when an employee is stressing too much and have to give a lot of time of his time in the organization, then there is some wellness program where outside motivator come or a psychologist actually come from outside and he actually guides employees. If he is facing a personal or stress related, office related problem, he can consult with that psychologist. Some organizations, the big organizations, they have their own psychologist. Okay. So, like BRAC, they have their own wellness program and they have their own psychologist. If an employee wants, he can go to the psychologist and talk about his problems with free of cost. This kind of wellness program we are talking about. Okay. So, if you are facing a problem, you do not have to pay money to go to the outside psychologist. You can see under wellness program. So, in the large companies they have this. because there are so many employees. So there must be problem can occur. Okay, a person can have stress issues. So he can see this psychologist via this wellness program. Clear? There comes the then last one, safety manager. This is a very low position. He is mainly responsible for day-to-day safety measures. For say 100 employees are working in a plant, he is looking over them, what employees are doing and telling this, you don't have to do this, you have to do this, you wear this, you don't wear this, okay, don't go near the fire or keep distance from this. So these kind of general guidelines he will be giving. So this is the safety manager who is actually working on the field with the employees every day. So this is the hierarchy actually, from senior position to junior position. This is only one department, right, which is concerned about employee health. Then see, there is another department, separate department about wage or salary administrative. Under wage and salary administrative, there is appraisal and performance management. Why these are two separate departments under it? Can't they be under one department and work together? Wage and administrative, appraisal and performance management. Is the same thing, right? Yes or no? What do you think?
The wage or salary administration most likely looks after if they're properly paying the wage and if the employees are getting their salary on time. And most likely the appraisal and performance management, they actually look after the performance of the employees and see who needs an appraisal, who's performing well, and then give them a prize.
So just think about this organization, okay? So we have around for say 200 employees working here, okay? 200 employees. So for 200 employees, if there is a single department for wage, salary and appraisal performance, it's still manageable, right? A manager, under there is a coordinator, a senior executive or junior executive. But think about a bank who has branches over 150 branches all over Bangladesh. So there would be people like 30,000 people or more would be working there. So is it possible for a single department to look over all of the stuff? No. That is why the large organizations have two different sectors. One section is responsible for only looking over the wage and salary, the basic. Monthly salary and wage, they disburse the salary, and the other actually maintain the performance. Based on performance, an employee gives appraisal, right? They only look over who is performing well, who is not performing well, who will get the performance bonus, who will not get the performance bonus, okay? And what type of appraisal employee can get, who will be getting what type of incentive. So this is appraisal, this is their job only, okay? So in big organizations, under wage and salary administrative, there can be a separate department for performance management as well. After that comes recruitment and placement. Recruitment and placement, that means what? Recruiting employees, right? So this is a separate department. Under this department, there are 3 sections. See, recruitment is a department, is a term, right? Our manager responsible for only recruiting and placing the employees where they need. Then there is search employment agency coordinator. Most of the big organizations, what they do, they actually don't look for employees by themselves, because it is a costly job and it is a time consuming thing as well. What they do is contact a third party agent and give them the job. They give them the criteria and tell them, I need this type of employee, now find me 100 of them, okay? And the third party actually finds 100 employees for them, and in this recruitment center, among these 100 employees, they may select 30 or 20, whatever they need, okay? So that's why it's a separate section. Some organizations might do it by themselves, they have a department for searching, and some organizations, they actually hire third party agents who actually collect employees according to their needs, and among them the organization recruit. Clear? Okay. Then comes employee retention program. Only hiring employees is not the job, right? We have to keep them as well. So how to keep them? Retention, that means when I want to keep my employees, right? Retention program. So that is why there is a separate department of retention program. If an employee is not motivated and he wants to leave the job, then it's their job to identify why he is leaving and identify the cause why employees are leaving, and they also plan some stuff by which the employee will be involved in the organization and they will not leave. Okay. So finding the problem and solving the problem. This is the job of retention program. Why employees leaving and how we can keep them. This it's their job. After that comes the personal record, HRIS and payroll processing. In big organizations, they actually use software, human resource information system. Okay. Human resource information system is the new IT. So the big organizations, they don't follow actually manual procedures. There is no such things as keeping record by hand. They actually have software for payroll as well as for keeping employees' data. So human resource information system is a kind of software where you can actually record all the informations of an employee plus payroll process. You don't have to calculate employee's salary manually by hand by using a calculator. You can do it via this software. It's very easy to do. In HR, you have, if you are taking a human resource as a major, then human resource information system, you will have a subject. Okay. So on this subject, you will be having this type of software. You can look this type of software and how does it work. Okay. But in this course, as this is a basic course, I am not going to teach you about the HRIS. So what happens for, say, there are in a big companies, I said there can be 30,000 employees. If you start recording each and everyone's information by hand, how much time you will be needing? And how much you have to keep 2 or 3 floors for storage only, right? For keeping the books only. And if someone says, I want to know the information about the Rajshahi division, Mr. Omuk information, please give me that. How can you find it? You will need 2 or 3 days to find out from this stock, right? These 3 boxes, like 3 rooms full of papers. So that is why in big companies it's very important to keep a database. A database with one click, you will find everything about the employee. When he joined, what was his position previously, what's he doing now, how many performance bonuses he got, what was his rating, A-star rating or 5-star rating, right? Everything is under one database with one click. So this is the job of recruitment and placement department. Okay. Remember under which department which job is doing, who is doing what job. Then comes administrative direction, training and education. That means it's all about employee training. Okay. Training department for employees. Under that there is a separate orientation department. That means when a new employee joins, it's their job to give orientation. Now you can say, why a separate department for orientation? Orientation only happens once. So why keep a separate department? What these employees are going to do the rest of the year? Tell me. Yeah, in big companies there is always new people coming. It's not like a yearly recruitment. It's not like university admission, right? Like after 6 months there will be new students. No, it's a continuous process. Where there is 30,000 employee working, there will be like people who will be leaving or who will be getting promotion. So there is a vacant position, or an employee might get a better opportunity in another organization, he might shift. So there is a vacancy. So what you will do? You will wait for a year to recruit or 6 months to recruit? No, it's not like that. So this is a continuous process. Recruitment is a continuous process. That's why orientation is also a continuous process. So that is why orientation is a separate department. After that comes training. When an employee joins, he or she must need a training. And also the existing employee, they also need training, right? So the training department's job is to find out which employee needs training in which subject and like collect those employees and arrange a training for them. Okay. The like trainer arrangement, what would be the budget, which employee, which department needs the training, what time the training would be taking place, what would be the duration of the training, all the things are sorted by this training department. After that comes management development. What is the job of a management development department? What do you think? by reading this, the two words management development, what do you think what would be their job? Management development.
May I try?
Yeah, of course.
Firstly making plans, then taking strategic, and the strategic getting successful.
There is also a term development, right? Not only management.
Maybe they will select those people who got training in BBA department, whether they need more training or not.
So management development is when an employee gets training. After that, for some reason his performance might not like would top notch, right? But his performance is not getting nowhere. So what would you do? You will just fire that employee? No, you will give him another chance. Okay, so that is why that is management development. That means overall management development. Okay, after training, if someone is failing, take the feedback and give him a chance again. So this is a continuous process. Management development. That means planning. I am planning, managing, right? There is a 5 process for managing. I am planning, implementing, and also motivating employee and getting feedback, right? So management development. This is a continuous process which works for like all employees who is not working properly. So after training, there comes the management development. It's a continuous process of planning, executing, getting feedback, planning, executing, getting feedback. Okay, done. After that, there is a department called Manager Employee Relations Service. Manager Employee Relations Service. That means here we are focusing about the relationship of an employee and the manager, right? So what is their job actually? Firstly, under them is employee counseling. If an employee is not feeling safe in a working environment, or is being threatened, or there is a conflict, or he is confused for some reason, he can go to this department for counseling, okay, if he is facing any problem. After that, there is employee recognition program. What does it mean by recognition?
For example, to give appraisal when they're doing good.
Recognition, right? When you are doing a good job, then recognize it, right? It give you some kind of appraisal. So employee recognition program, what they actually do, see, out of the 30,000 employees, they actually look for the best performers who in which branch, which employee is doing good, and keeping them in record, and give them a good appraisal or a benefit or a bonus, so that they are motivated. So their job is to recognize those performers. Recognition program, clear? After that comes employee special events. What type of special event we are talking about here? Employee special events. Yes, a special event, right? Employee's birthday, it can be a Women's Day celebration, right? This type of small stuffs. It can be like cultural program like a Pohala Boishakh celebration. So this type of small events, if you remember employee's birthday and wish him, then what will happen? The employee will think, okay, the organization actually remembers me, right? So it actually cares for me. If you send a flower to the employee. So this type of special things, they actually keep records, okay. So if you are thinking like, okay, this is not a big job, but when you are thinking about 30,000 or plus employees, then it is a job of a individual person, right? So that is, it is a job of a individual person. Then there is a Administrative Director Benefit Service. See, there are 2 headings under the same name, right? Administrative Director Benefit Service, Administrative Director Benefit Service. In big organizations, they might have 2 departments in the same name, like 2 people doing the same job, because one department might not be able to handle all of the stuff, that's why. But it can be a single department as well, okay. According to the company's need, the department can get like double or triple. Clear? So here you have it has shown 2 departments under the same name. It's not necessary all the organizations will have this type of like 2 departments under the same name, okay. If they don't need, they can only keep 1 department. Clear? is just a blueprint, it's not a Bible, like you have to follow it. It's just a blueprint for this organization, okay. Now comes to the administrative director benefit service. That means we are talking about here about the benefits the employees are going to get, right, all the benefits. Now benefits payroll process. That means with payroll there are some benefits added, right. When you see a salary sheet, there is called basic salary, then there is like transportation service, house allowances, right, this type of sorting is there. So it's their job is to like layer out the process for which level, for executive level, what would be the basic salary, what would be the transportation cost, what would be the house rent, and what would be the accommodated salary, the total salary, okay. So this is their job to process this. What would be the the amount of benefit and the amount of basic salary and accommodate all of this. Then comes employee benefits. There can be other type of benefit which is not included in the salary. For say they are giving you lunch subsidy, your mobile bill payment, or giving you a transportation service. So which employee is getting what type of service, or for which employee will give what type of service, they keep this record, employee benefit. Then comes benefit HRIS. That means human resource information system, what type of benefit all the employees are getting, the record of it. It's in here, HRIS, it's the record, okay. So benefit HRIS is like a person when he keeps record of all the employees, which employee is getting what type of benefits, what's their basic salary, what's their accommodated salary, and keeping all of this in human resource information system software. So it's his job. Clear? Any confusion in this department? The last one is manager, labor relations. See, I told you in the big organizations there can be a separate person who actually looks for the labor relation, right? And previously we saw in the small organization the manager also is responsible for labor relation and the whole department, right? So this manager, labor relation, he is actually responsible for looking after the labor union. He bargains with the labor union, okay. In every big organizations there are labor unions. So his job is to bargain with them, to maintain the policies and look over the labor union, okay. So it's his job. Clear? Any confusion in the whole chart? So depending on organization, the organization's chart can be different, okay. But more or less this is the like this chart has everything that a big company actually have, big departments actually have, okay. So I don't think they missed any points or any departments. So it can be more or less, but this is the standard format for a large organization. Yes, you are saying?
Ma'am, wellness program are employee counseling. It is almost the same.
Okay. Employee counseling is mainly when you are having issues inside the organization, like you are having conflict with the your colleague, or your manager is like behaving biased with you, you are not they are not treating you equally, okay, this type of stuff. And wellness program is basically on your mental health. You are too much stressed in the work, you are getting too much workload, you cannot balance your family life and work life together. So this type of health program they actually maintain in wellness programs, a mental support program, where the special psychologist actually give you a counseling. And here is the work related problem, like you are having a problem with your colleague, or you are with a boss and you are someone is not, like someone is bullying you, this type of inside organization the problem they face, this is employee counseling. It is a job of a manager, like related to the HR manager job is that, but this is not a job of HR manager, outsider or insider psychologist do the job, okay, and this will be done by the HR department, okay, one of the managers. So this is the main difference, okay. This is related with actually your direct work, and this is not related with your direct work, this is your mental health. Indirectly you are like stressed out because of the work, because of the like maybe bullying, or and this is the direct action, okay, like this is happening to me, you have to solve it, okay. Clear? Any confusion? No? Okay, so we can end our class today at this note. In the next class, we will start from the functions of HR manager. Okay? I hope in the next class we will be able to finish this chapter. Okay, you can pause the video. Any